large Federal Maritime Administration ship named the Cape May. Cape May, again, with the Federal Maritime Administration ship, is a Federal Maritime Administration ship. Those ships that are under that jurisdiction have red, white, and blue bandies around their stacks. That ship is a very versatile cargo ship. She is designed to carry onboard floating and containerized cargo for large liners. The largest cruise on the Cape May is the used the water's not deep, 204. Station the base was established in 1917. This year, the station is celebrating its 100th birthday. The base is home to just under 94 ships, almost 100,000 men and women. And adjacent to the base is Fort Minnesota, right? You'll find the Naval Air Station. There's about 150 aircraft at the station here as well. Piers ahead of us are referred to as the D, and as well as destroyer and submarine piers. The piers of the base are also numeric and first pier coming up is Pier 1. On inside of Pier 1, a large white ship with the Red Crosses, which is the United States Navy Comfort. Our Navy operated and maintained 2 hospital ships. The Comfort home ported on the East Coast out of Norfolk, Virginia, and the ship identical to the Comfort named Mercy, home ported out of the West Coast out of San Diego, California. Initially, the Comfort to your right and her sister ship Mercy were both San Clemente class commercial oil tankers. These tankers at one time were used to carry crude oil from Alaska down to California. And they acquired the tankers many years ago, converting both of them into 1,000-men hospital ships for the Comfort into monitoring rooms and all the modern amenities you'll find at any modern hospital vessel. Down on border hospital ships like the Mercy and Comfort. Fortunately, a ship like this doesn't have maintain operational status. She can be activated during an emergency or time of war. Occasionally, the Navy even activates ships like this for humanitarian cruises. If the Comfort here were activated by the Navy would pull staff of the Naval Regional Medical Center Enforcement to staff the ship with medical personnel. And fully staffed, she accommodates roughly 1,200 medical personnel aboard. As far as the actual operation of the ship is concerned, the Navy would crew the ship with the MSC and Military Sea Lift Command. Notice the light blue and gold bandings that are painted around the stack on that ship. She's highly automated. The Comfort requires a crew of only 71 for actual operation. Very large ship. She's 896 foot in length and 96 foot across the beam. The Comfort sits to these piers and a reduced operational status. One of 2 hospital ships operated and maintained by the United States Navy. Now, if you look on either side of the pier from the Comfort, we'll find an Arleigh Burr-class guided missile destroyer number 87 is USS Mason. Let's direct your attention a bit further ahead of us to our right at the second pier, the base Pier 2. On the side of Pier 2, we'll find 2 more surface warships. Number 64 at the end of the pier is named the USS Gettysburg. Behind the Gettysburg is one of her sister ships, number 68, the USS Anzio. Both Anzio and Gettysburg are both classified as Ticonderoga-class cruisers. And what those 2 cruisers have in common with an Arleigh Burr-class guided missile destroyer like the Mason to your right, these 2 classes of ships have been equipped with the world's most advanced naval weapon system known as Aegis. The word itself, Aegis, is a Greek word meaning shield. The shield refers to on ships like the 2 and 3 on our right is a superior air defense system. Primary function of all of the Aegis-equipped ship is to escort and to defend the battle group from airstrike. But yet versatile, these ships can strike land-based targets from hundreds of miles away, engage and destroy enemy surface ships and submarines, specializing primarily in air defense. At the heart of the Aegis system, an Aegis-equipped ship like the 3 on our right carry on board a new type of radar. The radar is called Spy-1 radar. It will direct your attention to the upper structures of the 3 ships I just pointed out. Up on your upper structures, you'll be able to locate what look like some 8-sided or octagon-shaped plates. On some of these ships, you'll find the plates are painted slightly lighter gray in color than the surrounding area. Some of the other ships, you'll find the plates painted slightly darker gray than the surrounding area. If you're located at any of those 8-sided plates, you're looking at what is called a Spy-1 radar. Spy-1 is a fixed or stationary radar system, meaning the ships to your right will carry 4 of them aboard, situated at limit signals in a 360-degree radius completely around these ships. Spot 1 radar allows ships like the ones to your right to track over 1,000 targets at the same time while tracking all these targets. These ships can keep tabs on friendly aircraft and friendly ships that operate within their vicinity. At the same time, they can also determine those targets that are considered to be hostile. Once a target has been verified as hostile, Aegis has the ability to select an appropriate weapon and launching that weapon to engage and destroy the threat. That entire process takes only fractions of a second for further amazing. These ships are heavily armed and on the bow of the number 64 wrapped in a white street wrap plastic as a fully automated 5-inch 54 caliber gun. The 5-inch 54 is a standard gun you will find on most of the warships in the base today. The effective range of the weapon is 13.5 miles. The powerful 1,020 rounds per minute. The weight of the 5-inch 54 projectile is roughly 70 pounds. Cruisers like the Gettysburg carry two of those guns aboard, one on the bow, the other on the stern. Now, if you look back behind you to your right at the Arleigh Burke, which is the Mason, that's a smaller warship. She carries only a single 5-inch gun up on her bow. All three of these ships we're talking about to our right also are equipped with close-in weapons called Vulcan phalanx, and we'll tell you more about it in just a few minutes. But in addition to the gun systems, the ships to your right will carry on board an array of missiles. On these ships, you'll find it interesting. Most of the weaponry is actually launched to what is called VLS, or vertical launch systems. Simply put, missiles are stored and launched in vertical cells below the ship's main deck. Between two VLS launches on the cruises like the Gettysburg to your right, that ship will carry 122 missiles situated in vertical launch. The Arleigh Burke's like the Mason back to your right, it's a smaller warship. She carries 96 missiles with her VLS or vertical launch systems. For the certain advantage to having missiles launched through VLS, it allows ships like the ones to get right in rapid offload of many types of missiles at the same time, enabling those ships to engage and to destroy many different targets at once. Greatly increases their survivability as well as their capability to defend the ships within the surrounding battle group. Most important weapon deployed from the Aegis-equipped ship is the SM-2 Block 3 Standard Surface Destroyer Missile. All ships like the ones to your right to engage and destroy high-performance aircraft or anchoring missiles about 70 miles out. Select ships of both classes can carry aboard the extended-range version of that missile to allow those ships to engage either an intermediate or long-range ballistic missile in its initial takeoff. Not all the ships have that capability, but several of them do. It's part of the United States Navy's anti-ballistic missile defense program. Be sure this time we have several ships of both these classes currently stationed off the Korean Peninsula for that reason. These ships also carry on board the long-range land attack missile called Tomahawk. Allows them to strike land-based targets from hundreds of miles away with pinpoint accuracy. They also carry on board these ships to our right the anti-ship missile called Harpoon. They have excellent anti-submarine warfare capabilities. Carrying on board the Mark 46 torpedo, can also launch a missile called ASROC, which is an anti-submarine rocket, basically a delivery system for the Mark 46 torpedo. The cruisers like the Gettysburg and the ship behind her, the Anthea, those two ships were identical. They're 566 foot long, 55 foot across her beams, and they carry a crew of 375. And behind us to our right, the Arleigh Burke, the Mason, a bit smaller, at 509 foot long, 59 foot across her beam, and carries a crew of 340. I apologize about the awkward angle, and we kind of get past these ships, but the tide's pulling us out. It's kind of hard to hold the boat to the wind here without getting close to the boat, to the docks here. If we get too close, they'll come out shooting, so we don't want to do that. So we're trying to stay out a good distance so we don't upset the security here. So apologize about that. We'll be pointing out a lot more ships to you. Hopefully get better angles at them. On the left side of the pier, Pier 2, we'll find two ships. Closest to us is an assault ship, and that ship is the USS Tortuga. It's an LSD or landing ship dock of the Whidbey Island class. Like the other assault ships in our Navy, she operates in very similar principles. That ship has a large interior well deck. They call it water, and a dropping gate on the ship's stern for floating in and out landing craft and hovercraft. She also will accommodate a variety of attack and transport helicopters. The Tortuga is 609 foot long, 84 foot across the beam, carrying a crew of about 340 and accommodates right about 400 Marines. There's one more ship on the left side of Pier 2, all the way shore to the right. Ahead of the Tortuga is an Arleigh Burke class guided missile destroyer. The ship's hull number is 94, and that ship is named the USS Nitsa. Now, the third pier on our right is often referred to as the submarine pier. In Norfolk, Virginia, we have only fast attack submarines homeported here. Our Navy's larger subs that carry ballistic missiles are stationed to the south of us down in Kings Bay, Georgia. Only attack subs in Norfolk. We're going to see 4 submarines on Pier 3 to our right this afternoon. Let's start off with the subs on this side of Pier 3. There are three of those subs, and if you look at the submarine closest to us at the end of the pier, you're looking at a new Virginia-class attack submarine. We only have two of that class on port in Norfolk thus far, so that's either the USS John Walter or maybe the USS Indiana. Those are the only two of that class that are on port in Norfolk. There's no identifying names and numbers on this submarine, so I can't tell you which one that is for sure, other than the fact that's a new Virginia-class attack sub. That submarine is 377 foot long. She's 33 foot across the beam. Carries a crew of about 135. And if you look behind it, we'll see two other submarines, a little smaller in size. Those are above 680, what they call Los Angeles class attack subs. They're not the newest attack subs in the fleet, but they're considered super high speed, super quiet, and deep diving. The submarines are 360 feet long, 33 foot across their beam, and they carry a crew of 127. Submarines we'll see at the base to our right are all powered by one atomic reactor. The core and the reactor plant are expected to power them for approximately 15 to 20 years between refuelings, equivalent to a distance of over 1 million miles in steaming time. The subs to our right have a speed on the surface of 20 knots and dive to about 30 knots plus. Top speed is classified information. If you did not know, a knot is equal to about 1 1/8 of a mile an hour. Now, these are attack subs, and the primary function or mission of the attack submarine is to engage and destroy the enemy sub. But yet, the submarines to your right are very versatile. All of them carry on board the long-range land attack missile called Tomahawk that will allow these subs to strike land-based targets from hundreds of miles away. They can engage the enemy surface ship over the horizon, the low-flying sea-swimming missile called Harpoon. But to engage the enemy submarine on board them is the world's most advanced torpedo. It's called a Mark 48. It is a heavyweight, wire-guided torpedo. The Mark 48 has an effective range of 23 miles and will travel at speeds in excess of 70 miles an hour. The ability to track and chase the enemy submarine to depths well over 3,000 feet. And when that torpedo reaches its target, it delivers a 650-pound high explosive warhead. So again, to our right are attack subs. One more attack sub on the left side of here, to be all the way short of the white on the base of the pier, is another Los Angeles class attack submarine. Next pier on the right, which is Pier 4, we're going to find three surface warships in that pier. All three of those are Aegis equipped. The easiest way to identify an Aegis equipped ship is actually quite simple. If you look at the infrastructure of the ships, the infrastructure will notice on the side drop contact rates. If you see that on one of the ships, they're an Aegis equipped ship. On this side of the pier and short of the right, we'll find a Ticonderoga class cruiser. That ship is number 61. I believe that's number 61. We'll verify it in just a moment. Excuse me, that's number 60. Number 60 is the USS Normandy. That ship is a Ticonderoga class cruiser. The Navy built 27 ships in the class, 22 are in service today, and 26 of the 27, like the Normandy, were named for famous battles. The left side of the pier are two more Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers. The ship that's opposite the Normandy is number 109, the USS Jason Dunham. Dunham is the newest of all the Arleigh Burke we'll see at the base today. The ship's 50 years old. Price tag on a new Arleigh Burke like that was the U.S. taxpayer about $2 billion. The newer ones have upgraded weapons and more clock support, probably more expensive than the original Arleigh Burkes, like the number 57 ship, like which was this year, when the Arleigh Burkes built back in the early 90s. In the Arleigh Burkes, many of the older newer ships in the class will range in length between 5 foot and 9 foot. The ships have beams of 59 foot, and they carry a crew of right around 340. These Arleigh Burkes are very expensive. For example, looking at this next pier on the right, we'll find three Arleigh Burkes on that pier alone. You're looking at well over $5 billion for delivery hardware sitting there. Number 98 is the USS Fort Sherman. Behind the Fort Sherman is the Arleigh Burke. The Arleigh Burke being the lead ship of the first of the class constructed. Before the class of ship was named for her. The Arleigh Burke was built in Bath, Maine at Bath Iron Works, commissioned on the 4th of July, 1991. She's the first of over 60 in the class to be built in the United States Navy. The ship we'll find on the left side of the pier, I believe we'll soon show the ship on the left side, is the number 72, which is the USS Mahan. Another older Arleigh Burke. Mahan just about 2 weeks ago returned to Norfolk from almost a 7-month-long deployment. It used to be the deployments of our naval ships were about 6 months, with fewer ships in the fleet today. Deployments are actually extending a bit longer. Some of the deployments are lasting 7 to 9 months. So the Mahan and her crew had a great homecoming when they arrived in Norfolk about a week and a half ago. There's a dredging operation directly to your right, and dredges are designed to deepen and widen the channels of harbors and rivers. They're currently doing some maintenance dredging around the piers to our right to maintain a depth of about 50 foot. The dredge on our right is named the Charleston, which is owned by Norfolk Dredging Company. And the Charleston is a suction dredge, kind of like a very large vacuum cleaner when in operation. Aboard the dredge to our right are large suction pumps. At the left end of the dredge is a pipeline that is currently submerged to the bottom of the harbor. If you can see the end of the pipeline, on the end of it looks like a large drill bit or an arbor. As it turns, it kicks mud, sand, and silt off the bottom, which is then pulled up through the pipeline utilizing suction pumps aboard the dredge Charleston. Following the right end of the dredge, off to our right, that pipeline submerges. It goes under the water. It resurfaces again about 2.5 miles behind us to our left at the Craney Island Disposal